This comes in light of Labour's assurances not to increase taxes on working individuals. Chancellor Rachel Reeves is set to unveil a series of tax reforms in this month's autumn budget, focusing on income tax thresholds, inheritance tax, and fuel duty. These measures, anticipated to raise billions in revenue, will directly impact middle and higher income earners. The freeze on income tax thresholds, initially scheduled to end in 2028, is likely to be extended to 2030, according to The Telegraph. This adjustment is expected to push an additional 400,000 people into the basic tax rate, while another 600,000 will find themselves in higher or additional tax brackets, as reported by the Institute for Fiscal Studies, IFS. For the first time, the full state pension could also fall under income tax as it surpasses the £12,570 personal allowance by 2028. This threshold freeze is akin to a 1p increase in the basic rate of income tax, projected to generate £7 billion annually. As wages rise with inflation, more individuals will end up paying higher tax rates, despite no changes to nominal tax rates, resulting in a greater tax burden over time. Labour's manifesto pledged not to raise income tax rates. Last year, Ms. Reeves seemed to agree, stating, "People on average earnings are paying more in tax because they are dragged into higher tax brackets. That is a sign of failure. The government is picking the pockets of working people." By freezing tax thresholds, the government sidesteps this promise, allowing fiscal drag to take effect. This situation coincides with new data showing that household living standards are improving at their slowest pace in over 50 years. The Office for National Statistics reports that real GDP per capita has grown by only 0.3% annually since 2020, marking the slowest growth since the 1970s. Inheritance tax is also likely to be on Ms. Reeves' agenda, with proposals to extend the current 7-year rule on gifts to 10 years. This change would make it more challenging for individuals to transfer assets without incurring inheritance tax, as they would need to survive 10 years post-gift to avoid taxation. Wealthier individuals who utilize this rule to lessen their tax burden on large estates would be particularly impacted. Additionally, the Chancellor may consider eliminating exemptions for specific shares and agricultural land, which affluent individuals have used to protect their assets from inheritance tax. Farmers are warning that any significant changes to agricultural property relief, APR, could devastate the industry, prompting many to sell their farms. High-profile farmer and activist Gareth Wyn-Jones stated that the consequences could lead the UK to sleepwalk into food shortages. Fuel duty, which has remained frozen since 2011 and was reduced by 5p in 2022, may face its first increase in over a decade. Ms. Reeves could raise it by as much as 7p, which would affect pump prices and raise costs for both individuals and businesses. This increase could further contribute to inflation by impacting the prices of goods and services reliant on transportation. For drivers, this means higher costs at the pump, with ripple effects on everything from commuting expenses to grocery prices, as transportation costs climb. The AA has expressed concerns, noting that this hike will affect not just drivers but the entire economy. In Berlin, Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer did not dismiss the proposed tax increases but emphasized that none would contradict Labour's manifesto commitments. He stated, "In relation to our manifesto, we are going to keep our manifesto pledges. I've made that very clear."